Hey everybody, today we're going to be doing a thorough investigation into Google regarding their practices involving Google+. We're going to be discussing hypocrisy. We're going to be discussing that Google employees themselves are not abiding by the rules that they lay down for the rest of us. Furthermore, we're going to be exposing some favoritism shown to some people while the rest of us get booted. And also we're going to be exposing that some corporations are given preferential treatment while most other businesses are just being kicked off of the system. Anyway, it's going to be a long video. Grab some popcorn, sit down, and enjoy the show. Hello everybody, I am the HappyCabbie, and today I'm going to be talking about Google+, their policy on privacy, their policy requiring people to use their real identities, and why I disagree with it. I'm also going to be pointing out that Google employees themselves are not following these rules, and furthermore, exceptions are being made for certain people while the rest of us are getting banned from Google+. Now, one of the newest news about Google+ came from Bradley Horowitz. He's one of the top dogs running Google+. He issued this statement, and I would like to read it for you verbatim, and you can see a link to this statement down below in the video description. It is worth noting that in general we've only been discussing upcoming changes to Google+ as they are being released. In this case, we felt it would be helpful to signal to concerned parties what's coming. This immediately raised the question of when, and the answer is as soon as possible. We've already improved our process, and the changes below should arrive within a matter of weeks. We've noticed that many violations of the Google+ common name policy were in fact well-intentioned and inadvertent for these users. Our process can be frustrating and disappointing. So we're currently making a number of improvements to the process, specifically how we notify these users that are not in compliance with Google+ policies and how we communicate remedies available to them. These include giving these users a warning and a chance to correct the name in advance of any suspension. Now that may be well and good, but what about the people who've been suspended already? What are you going to be doing to enable them to appeal their decisions and to come back? I mean, yes, there is a link on there when your profile is suspended that you can link, but I mean, I've not been hearing about too many people getting their accounts back, unless of course you're like a William Shatner or some other famous celebrity. Furthermore, Bradley Horowitz, you issue a couple of things in which you wish to debunk some myths. You are either lying or you are ignorant of what's actually happening. I'm going to take the better of the two options and say that you are ignorant. I want to point out this. Myth. Not abiding by Google's common name policy can lead to wholesale suspension of one's entire account. When an account is suspended for violating Google+ common name standards, access to Gmail and other products that don't require a Google+ profile are not removed. Please help us get the word out. If your Google profile is suspended for not using a common name, you won't be able to use other Google services or Google+, but you'll still be able to use Gmail, Docs, Calendar, Blogger, and so on. This, you're either lying or you're ignorant, because there are people who are being locked out of other services. Now granted, it's not many, but if you're interested, I'll leave links in the description below where you can check this out for yourself. There are people who are saying they are locked out of other Google products. Oh, Bradley Horowitz, just in case you're curious of how I was able to find out this information, there's a service called Google, and you just simply type in Google+ locked out, and you can find all sorts of stuff that you can find out about people being locked out of their Google accounts. I'll go ahead and leave some links to some of the stuff below, but I do encourage you to use the Google search engine. It's actually quite useful. Now you want to know what's beautiful about Google+? This is the reason people such as myself have said, don't put your real names out on the internet. In fact, if you go to the Safety Center of Google, it says this. This is the YouTube Safety Center. When you go to YouTube Safety, this is the first thing that you see. Let's go ahead and reload the page, and this video here will automatically start playing.
Playing and staying safe online. The internet can be a lot like real life. It's fun to hang out, chat with your friends, share videos and photos, and maybe meet new people. Just as in real life, you should keep in mind a few simple guidelines to keep yourself safe. Part 1. Personal is personal. Keep your private stuff private. Don't post personal information like your name, school, age, address, or phone number.
So there we go. Here it is from the Google Support Safety Center telling you not to post your real name. Can you explain to me why Google Plus is requesting people to use their real name? But anyway, when you go to the Google Family Safety Center, you come down over here, and then you scroll down over here to a section called Stopping Them from Sharing Too Much Personal Information. Come here to read more and watch a video on social networking safety. It takes you to this thing here called Internet Safety 101 and how to be safe on social sites. Be anonymous as possible. That's the first thing they tell you. Why is Google Plus requiring people to use their real names, yet in other places Google is telling people to remain anonymous? Can somebody at Google please answer that question for me? So here is Google telling young people don't put their real names out there online, but yet here you are, Google Plus, requiring that people do. That doesn't make sense. You have two contradictory statements. But let me go ahead and show you one of the weaknesses out of Google Plus. Would you guys like to be able to communicate directly with Bradley Horowitz? Would you love to be able to just send him a message? No chance that he'll actually respond, but say for example if Bradley Horowitz had a YouTube channel, wouldn't you love to know what his YouTube channel is? What is the one thing that Google employees don't want? They don't want their personal YouTube pages being filled up with messages. They want you to go to the help center. They want you to read the terms of service. They don't want to communicate with real, actual people. Anybody who've ever tried to communicate with Google always gets back these form letters. And it's like, did they even read my email? Or am I talking to a machine? How would you like to be able to talk to Bradley Horowitz? Thanks to Google Plus, we found his YouTube channel. It's real simple. We found his YouTube channel because of Google Plus. Bradley Horowitz's YouTube channel is going to be down below. So if you have a problem with Google Plus and you want to talk to one of the big people in charge, all you have to do is send a message to his YouTube channel and he'll be glad to help you out. This here is Vic Gantra. He is the head person in charge of Google Plus. And if you scroll down through here, you can actually discover other YouTube channels. Now, unfortunately, he doesn't have his linked. However, he did go through and link a whole bunch of other videos made by other Google employees. And because of that, you can actually find out these Google employees. You can find their Twitters, you can find their YouTube channels, you can find some of them have their Facebook. You can find a whole bunch of interesting people on YouTube that you can now contact directly thanks to Vic Gantra and Google Plus. See, I'm not drop talking. I'm basically using Google Plus the way these people designed it to be made so you can find real people online. Now this here is Talon. Now Talon is a Google employee, and this one I can actually prove because I'm going to show you. Now number one, he says he's a software engineer. Bragging rights, he says he works for Google and stuff like that. Well, anybody could put that there. I can understand what you're saying. However, I intend to prove that Talon is not his real name and that he does work for Google. Now what's important is you want to pay attention to some of these other links right over here. And most importantly, this one over here listed Sylvan Tech, which I just happened to pull up right over here. And then you go to the About Talon, and this here is what he looks like right over here. And there we go, David Joyner. And then of course, if you were to Google stuff like that, you can actually find out that, yeah, this person actually does work for Google. And what he does is he does some kind of coding type thing. He doesn't code. See, I'm a noob when it comes to this stuff, so what he does I can't actually explain. But David Joyner is not Talon. Now, David Joyner, can I ask you a question? Okay, you are one of the people who actually is working on Google Plus. How come you do not have David Joyner on your page? How come you have Talon on your page instead of David Joyner? Can I ask you why that is? Why is it that you can have the name Talon, but other people cannot have their online pseudonyms? Can you answer me that, David Joyner? I'm just curious. Just let me know. You can contact me on YouTube, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. But do you believe that Talon should change his screen name from Talon to David Joyner? Because after all, that is the rules on Google+, isn't it? You're supposed to use your real online identities. But anyway, you wanted to know how to find out Bradley Horowitz's YouTube channel. Well, here's his Google+ profile right here. And look at all the different ways that you can contact Bradley Horowitz. You can contact him on Facebook. You can contact Bradley Horowitz, you know, Vice President Product with Google+. He's like either the number 2 or number 3 man in charge. If you have a problem with Google+ and you want to talk to a real person, you can actually talk to Bradley Horowitz. If you want to talk to an actual person, perhaps your account has been banned, and you want to find out how come your account got banned for using a pseudonym, but yet Talon gets to keep his, there's all sorts of ways. You can contact him on Facebook, you can contact him on Twitter, and here's his YouTube channel right here. Why? Because he linked it. See, I'm not dropping docs. I'm using Google+ the way Bradley Horowitz and others designed it to work. So therefore, I can find Bradley Horowitz on Google+, and then I can find out what his YouTube channel is. This is the way that Bradley Horowitz wants to be found and contacted. So anyway, let's go over here, and let's just click in Open Link in New Tab. And here is his YouTube channel right over here. And there we go. And let's say if we want to send a message, let's just see. Let's just type in, for example, can you do something about people getting banned on Google+? Furthermore, can you answer why Talon gets to keep his name and not have to use his real name like everyone else? Get back to me at your earliest convenience. And I misspelled convenience, but whatever. And see, I just sent a message to Bradley Horowitz on YouTube. See, I can actually contact the Vice President of Google+. Isn't it wonderful? Yeah! Brian Glick. This guy's famous, isn't he? Oh my. Now, for those of you who do not know, Brian Glick was one of the people that was in charge of redesigning the YouTube channel layouts last time they went around, which I think was around summer of 2009. More than likely, he might even be working on Cosmic Panda. I'm not really quite sure, but I do know the last channel layouts, he was one of the big people in charge. But say, for example, you wanted to talk to somebody about Cosmic Panda and say, listen, Cosmic Panda is really not something that I want to happen. You know, is there a way that we can contact somebody at YouTube and perhaps maybe say, hey, Cosmic Panda, here's some feedback about it, and you want to make sure that it reaches an actual employee? Well, thanks to Brian Glick here, we not only have his Twitter, but we have his YouTube channels, and it's right over here. But anyway, his YouTube channel, right over here, is, there we go, is called The Glickinator. He only has 112 subscribers, and as you can see, he does log into his account. His last activity right here was 1 day ago, so he does log into his account. So if you ever have a problem, you can contact Brian Glick. Why? Because Google Plus allows you to find real people online. Isn't it wonderful? Brian Glick, you can actually talk to a YouTube employee now, thanks to Google Plus. Here's another YouTube employee, Shanae Zach. She's one of the people who, you know, works on designing stuff on YouTube and stuff like that. If you ever have a problem, you can now contact, you know, Shanae Zach right here on YouTube. Here's her YouTube link, and all this stuff will be down in the video description. So right over here, unfortunately, she doesn't have a profile picture, so I'm going to, you know, send her my video about uploading profile pictures. But anyway, she has 115 subscribers, so it's not too much, but nevertheless, if you have a problem and you want to talk to somebody, you can talk to Shanae's on YouTube, and you can actually talk to a real employee now. Isn't it wonderful? This is Olivia Ma. Now, she works in the news department for YouTube. She's one of the people that puts together all the news about YouTube and stuff like that. And say, for example, you had a story that you think that YouTube should, do some stuff about, perhaps maybe, put in their blog or something like that, and you actually wanted to get YouTube's attention about something. Well, Olivia Ma is at your disposal now because you can find her. And you want to know how you find these Google and YouTube employees? What you do is you take a look at who these people have added in their circles, and you look at other people who have added them. And once you start going through these things, that's how you find them. Because these Google employees and these YouTube employees, they add each other. So as soon as you find one, you can find a whole bunch of them. So anyway, if you have a problem, here's Olivia Ma's YouTube channel, and it'll be linked down in the video description. So perhaps maybe if one YouTube employee is maybe not getting real quick to respond to you about something, you can contact Olivia Ma. Isn't it wonderful? Now this here is Margaret Healy. Unfortunately, she's a little bit smarter. she knows what's going on. She's not giving away her YouTube channel. Of course, she is on Twitter, but nevertheless, Margaret Healy is a great source of information because you can find other Google and YouTube employees by just going here to who she's added in her circles and who have added her in her circles and stuff like that. So it's pretty good. Pretty good source of information. This here's Ben Bayer. This here's a Google employee. And I found Ben Bayer by just simply, once I found one Google employee and then I found others. This here's Ben Bayer and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and see who he has added to his circles. Oh, look what we found here. Alice C. Let's take a look at Alice C's page. Alice C is an engineering recruiter for Google. Alice C, can I ask you a question? How come you don't use your real name on your Google Plus profile? Could you get back to me, Alice C, and explain to me why you're not putting your real name on your Google Plus profile? Why is it that Google Plus is requiring other people to put their real names, but yet you are allowed to have Alice C? Alice C, can you explain that to me? Just get back to me. Maybe leave a comment on my video. But there you go. Ben Bayer, I have a question for you. You work for Google, okay? And you added a person by the name of Sarah MC. Now this is a person that you went to their profile and added them. So this is a person that you know. Sarah MC is not using her real name. There's no way that her last name is MC. Why do you have a person by the name of Sarah MC in their circle? But anyway, let's go here to Sarah MC's page. And 95 people have added Sarah MC. Let's take a look at who they are. Well, first of all, Hunter Walk, who works for YouTube. Chad Hurley knows who Sarah MC is. Nikki Kidd, he works for YouTube. Ali Pasha. Ali Pasha knows who Sarah MC is. Megan Summers. Ben Bayer, of course. Michelle Beaver knows who Sarah MC is. Jeff Ferguson, he works for YouTube. Steve Chen. Oh, we did finally find him. So, Sarah MC, Steve Chen, and Chad Hurley both know who you are. I find that suspicious. But anyway, let's go through here some more. Here's Brian Glick. Brian Glick knows who Sarah MC is. Here's Jeffrey Henry. He works for Google. Rohan Talib knows who Sarah MC is. So we have Chad and Steve, YouTube founders, a whole bunch of other YouTube employees, a whole bunch of other Google employees, and furthermore, when you go through here, it's a whole bunch of, these people are some pretty big people that you have in your thing. You know what, Sarah MC? I'm beginning to suspect you might be a Google sock account. Sarah MC, how come you get to have the name Sarah MC, but others are required to disclose their full names? Sarah MC, can you get back to me? Explain to me why you are allowed to have Sarah MC on your Google Plus page. I have another question for Bradley Horowitz. Bradley Horowitz, why does Sarah MC get to keep her name as Sarah MC instead of having to use her real name? You know, could you get back to me about that? Because I'm kind of curious how all these people from YouTube and Google apparently know who Sarah MC is. I'm beginning to think that possibly she might work for your company. Anyway, if you could get back to me, I'd sure appreciate that. Okay, everybody, this here is Thunder Parley. Now, he is a Google engineer, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, okay, Thunder can't possibly be his real name. Well, it turns out it is. There's an article in the Los Angeles Times, which of course I'll link to in the video description, where it does say that his legal name did change to Thunder. However, here's something interesting that I did find out about Thunder Parley. Now, of course, he did remove this from his Google profile, but not until I was successfully able to grab it. Thunder Parley has a YouTube channel. Now, say, for example, you legally changed your name to, something else, and your Google profile was deleted because they didn't think that that was your real name. Well, if that has happened to you, you can contact Thunder Dawn right here. This here is his YouTube channel. Now, the Thunder Dawn does have something that's also very interesting that he can help you with. If you were to go to this video right here, this video looks surprisingly similar to a video by ESPN SportsCenter. Now, say, for example, you've ever had an issue with copyright, and you're wondering, it's like, gee, I wish I could just talk to somebody, about my copyright problems. Well, here is Thunder John, who is a YouTube employee, and not a YouTube employee, he actually works for Google, but nevertheless, he does have a YouTube channel, and apparently he is able to, just record videos off of his television set, put them up to YouTube, and never have to worry about copyright issues. Can I ask you a question? Why is it okay for a Google employee to post, copyrighted videos, just record them straight from the TV? If you were to go to copyright school that YouTube has, which I'll link to in the video description, it tells you that you're not allowed to do that. Thunder John, how come you have this SportsCenter video right over here? Now, I'm not going to play it because, I don't want to have to worry about copyright, but nevertheless, I'm just going to leave that video right there in the video description. But anyway, if you've ever had a problem with Google Plus rejecting your legally changed name, you can contact Thunder John and enlist his help. Because, now of course, on his Google Plus, he deleted the video. He actually embedded this video on his Google Plus, but he has since removed it. But like I said, I caught it, and this here is Thunder John's, and he is a Google employee right here. And here, of course, is Deep Nishar. Let's go ahead and see who Deep Nishar has in their circles. Well, here is Eric Lang. They've added Deep Nishar. Here is Abhijit Kalamar. He works with Google. Let's see, who else? Here's Jonathan, what's his name? Jonathan Rosenberg knows who Deep Nishar is. Let's see, who else do we have over here? Here is Richard Holden. He knows who Deep Nishar is. Henry Lee, he works for Google. He knows who Deep Nishar is. Here is Bill Coffrin. He knows who Deep Nishar is. Now, these are people that have added Deep Nishar to their circles. So these people know who Deep Nishar is. But I'm not saying that Deep Nishar is a false name, but it definitely sounds like it. I mean, Deep is usually not the name that somebody gives. It sounds almost sort of like a nickname, or it sounds like a screen name or something like that. Why are all these Google employees, letting Deep Nishar get away with it, yet when other people do it, they get their Google Accounts Plus closed down? I've always wondered about that. Here is Manik Gupta, he works for Google. Nikesh Mistry, he works for Google. Bradley Horowitz, can I ask you a question? Why is Deep Nishar able to keep his profile, but other people can't? Bradley Horowitz, you're like one of the top people working in Google Plus. You know who Deep Nishar is. Can you answer that question for us? Now this here is Dennis Trooper. Now this is another way that you can actually find out about people and their YouTube channels because of Dennis Trooper. Now of course he's a little bit smarter than to put up his links up over here, because as you can see he hasn't posted any kind of links. However, he has embedded other videos such as this one right over here, which is Google Plus for Business Update. So anyway, let's just go ahead and just play that right there. And let's just pause it. And right over here, you can say watch on YouTube. So you click on that. And here we have an unlisted video from Google Olstein. I'm hoping I pronounced that. Now, I'm real bad with pronouncing names. But as you can see, he's right over here. And he introduces his name. But yet when you go to his channel, you know, you got a whole bunch of people thinking that this is not a real Google employee or anything like that. But nevertheless, here is, you know, an actual Google employee. And if you wanted to contact him, you can just click on send the message. And thanks to Google Plus, because as you can see, it has no videos available. He's posting unlisted videos, but we were able to find him and prove his identity because of Google Plus. Isn't that wonderful? This here is the Ford Motor Company. This is a corporation on Google Plus. Other corporations and other businesses are getting shut down. And it says right here it's a test account. Why is it that Ford is allowed to be on Google Plus, but other corporations cannot be? Why is it that Google Plus is shutting down other businesses but letting Ford get away with it? Can you answer that?
This is Christian Oslin's Google Plus profile. This is one of the blurbs that he posted right over here. Over the next few months, we're going to be running a small experiment with a few marketing partners to see the effect of including brands in the Google Plus experience. We'll begin this pilot with a small number of named partners. If you represent a non-user entity, in other words, a business, organization, place, team, and would like to apply for consideration in our limited program and be amongst the first to be alerted when the business product launches, you can sign up here. Now this, of course, was dated July 6th, and of course, you can just click right over here if you want to apply. And as you can see, the application is turned off. Wah, wah, wah.
Now this here is Scud's blog right over here. Now Scud is a former Google employee. And furthermore, it says right here, during the time I was with Google, Google was working on the project that would become Google Plus. I was not directly involved in that project, but I did try and keep myself informed of their planned policies regarding pseudonymity and advocated strongly in favor of Google Plus allowing it. Obviously, that advocacy wasn't successful. So here is a former Google employee that had her account banned. But yet Talon, who still works for Google, he's allowed to keep it. Sarah MC is allowed to keep it. Deep Nashir is allowed to keep it, but yet Scud is not. Can I ask you a question? Why is it that Scud is not allowed to have her Google Plus account? I'm just curious. Now, I did actually contact Scud and asked her if she would be interested in taking part on this project. Unfortunately, she turned down all my requests for interviews. But nevertheless, links to her blogs are going to be down in the video description. It is a very interesting read. She has a lot of stuff to say. I encourage you guys to check it out. This here is the Google Plus policy page, and it specifies user content and conduct policy. You want to scroll down to section 13 for the really juicy stuff. So let's go ahead and do that. And it says right here, to help fight spam and prevent fake profiles, use the name your friends, family, and coworkers usually call you, such as HappyCabbie. For example, if your full legal name is Charles Jones Jr., but you normally use Chuck Jones or Junior Jones, either of those would be acceptable. Okay, well, my HappyCabbie name was fully compliant with this. Nobody calls me by my real name. I haven't used that name since 2006. Everybody calls me HappyCabbie. I get mail as HappyCabbie. The last job I had, people referred to me there as HappyCabbie. That, when I go out and introduce myself to other people, that's how I introduce myself. That is how I, that is my name in the real world. But nevertheless, my account was banned, so that's perfectly fine. But other people, for example, there have been authors You know, Tom Monopoly, for example. His account was banned. That is how he is known. He is not known by his real name. He's known as Tom Monopoly. Now, fortunately, he has been able to get some contact with some of the higher-ups. For example, Vic Guntura has been working with him to try and get his account reinstated, and even though it doesn't list it over here, we did manage to discover what his Twitter account is. So if you have a problem, I will link his Twitter account down in the description below. If I do find out he has a YouTube channel, I'll link that as well, but so far I haven't found it. But nevertheless, his Twitter will be down in the description. This here is the guy in charge of Google+. Also, Tom Monopoly was also contacted about doing an interview for this video. Unfortunately, he declined as well. But I will be leaving links to some of his information down below. I encourage you read it. And also, Bradley Horowitz, your claim about those who were kicked out of Google Plus not having access to their other Google products, you're saying that is a myth. I would like you to talk to Tom Monopoly, because Tom Monopoly is under the impression that that is not a myth. Tom Monopoly is under the impression that everything that he had connected to his Google account he's been locked out of. Now, fortunately, thanks to Vic Guntura, he's been working with him to get that stuff reinstated. But Bradley Horowitz, you're either lying or you're just ignorant of situations such as Tom Monopoly. Furthermore, Tom Monopoly is not the only one that this has happened to. I'll leave some links down in the description below of some other people that have been locked out of other Google products since having their Google Plus accounts banned. I encourage you to check that out, Bradley Horowitz. This here's a blog that is run by Google, and they're talking with Eric Lang, product manager, and he's talking about Google Checkout. Now, there's been a lot of talk about people who have had problems with Google Checkout. Now, fortunately, if you've ever had an issue with Google Checkout, for example, somebody owes you money and you're not getting paid, or perhaps money was mysteriously deducted from your account, which has happened to a lot of people, if you ever wanted to reach a real person, all you have to do is go find Eric Lang on Google+. Now, of course, he's been a little bit smart about not posting his Twitter or YouTube stuff or anything like that. However, if you add this person to a circle, he might accidentally slip up and post something that can link back to something like his YouTube, Twitter, or other ways that you can contact him. If you've ever had a problem with Google Checkout, Eric Lang is the person you want to talk to. And see, I'm using Google Plus the way it was designed, to find actual people so you can reach out to them. This is the way Google Plus was meant to work. See, we don't need anonymity. If you want to talk to a real person at Google, this is how you do it. Now, here's another exciting issue. This here's a video on the Google YouTube channel, and it's by a person by the name of Matt Cutts. And let's just go ahead and forward right over here. And as you can see, here's Matt Cutts. He looks like a real bright, vibrant young individual. But let's see, does Matt Cutts have a Google Plus account? Well, fortunately, it turns out that he does. And here's Matt Cutts, and as you can see, that Matt Cutts, it lines up perfectly with this Matt Cutts. So, yep, this Matt Cutts is a genuine, actual, real person. He's kind of hiding the people that he adds in his circles. But of course, you can find him on YouTube, and here is his YouTube channel, right over here. YouTube channel. So if you actually wanted to talk to an actual employee of Google, Matt Cutts is a person that you can talk to. 222 subscribers. He also links back to his blog, mattcutts.com, But nevertheless, here is another person that you can actually contact. So you don't have to, go to the help forums. You don't have to, send a message and just get back an automated thing that just tells you they haven't even read it. You can use Google Plus to actually talk to YouTube and Google employees now. Isn't it wonderful? This here is Victoria Grand. Now, Victoria Grand is pretty famous because there's a video on Blip TV, which I'll link down in the description below, in which she's talking about the review process of how YouTube reviews flagged videos. If you've ever had an issue about having one of your videos flagged down, Victoria Grand is the person to talk to about this. Now, unfortunately, she's a little bit smarter than some of the other Google employees, and she's not listing her stuff. But nevertheless, you can definitely add her to the circle. Maybe she can add you back, and you can do your best to try and communicate with her in case you've ever had an issue with flagging and you actually want to talk to a real person. See, Victoria Grand, I'm just using Google Plus the way it was designed, so you can find real people. Isn't that nice? And to the good people of Google Plus, I do have another question. Why is it that some people appear to be getting preferential treatment? Now, for example, if you were to go to Mashable and search Mashable on Google Plus, you can still see the cache list this as Mashable Google Plus. Now, when you click on it, it says Pete Cashmore. He has since changed it from Mashable to Pete Cashmore. Now, the only problem is Pete Cashmore already has a Google Plus account, which you can see right over here. Now, here is his other account right over here, and I'll leave links to these both in the video description. And it says right here, I will be winding down this account because Google has asked us to transition the Mashable News account to a personal account. Now, can I ask you a question? Why is it that you contacted him personally and asked him to change this instead of just shutting down his account like you have for so many other businesses? Why is it that certain people can get special privileges but other people cannot? All we're asking for is a level playing field. We're asking that instead of, Pete Sizemore just changing from Mashable to his personal account, where now he has 2 accounts on Google Plus, is basically just quit banning people. Give everybody the chance to say, oh, okay, well, instead of having this be a business account, we need you to transition it into a personal account. How about you give that opportunity to everybody? Now, this here is a bookmark manager right over here. Now, you see this name with all these funny little letters right over here? This here is a Google employee. Now, let's go ahead and click on this. Okay. Now, that page now goes to Gary Ills. Previously, up until about a day ago, Gary Ills, who does work for Google, he had a whole bunch of funny little characters on there. And I have that because it's a bookmark. In fact, I'll show a screenshot of my bookmarks just so you can see it. Why is it that Gary Ills was given a chance to change his account instead of losing his account? Is it because he just works for Google? All we're asking is that there not be special treatment, there not be preferences. We want a level playing field where the rules apply to everybody. That's all we're really asking. Okay, everybody, let's go ahead and take a look at this. This here is called the Best Fake Profiles on Google+. This was announced on the Huffington Post as of the 13th of July. It's been about 2 weeks now, and although they have suspended some of the accounts listed, many of them are still up. I would like to go ahead and point this out. And by the way, I know that the executives of Google are reading all the news posts because in your Google Plus accounts, you're posting about it. But anyway, fun fact, the Huffington Post, Ariana Huffington, she temporarily had her account suspended as well, but of course now it's back up. But anyway, I like to go ahead and point out Stewie Griffin, and for some reason it's marked as official. I don't know why. I don't know if this is something that Stewie Griffin was able to do, but nevertheless, Stewie Griffin has had this account for 2 weeks and, is still up there. But anyway, let's go ahead and take this out. Let's take a look at Borat. Borat is, of course, a fictional character, famous in the movies. A pretty funny movie, pretty vile movie, but it's a lot of fun. But nevertheless, for 2 weeks, Borat has had this Google Plus profile, and nobody's done anything about it. But anyway, according to the Huffington Post, it also linked a Darth Vader. Now, that particular Darth Vader did get shut down, but here is another Darth Vader. Now, Darth Vader has been posting porn. He has been posting porn, and also, for some reason, he has an option here to send him an email. But anyway, Darth Vader, I've been aware of this thing here for about a week. So far, nobody's taken it down. However, he does have a couple of interesting links. For example, you can check him out on Twitter. You can also check him out on Facebook. Now, when you go to his Twitter page, which I'll go ahead and open it up right over here, all of it is just photos. Most of it he's posting to Tumblr. I'm not going to be opening these up, but basically it's all porn. And his Facebook account goes under the name Dan Vade. But nevertheless, this here is all in Spanish. Some of it I'm able to read, some of it I can't. It's been a while since I've been around Spanish. I've lost quite a bit of it. But nevertheless, Stewie Griffin and also Borat, they've been around for 2 weeks. This Darth Vader has been around at least a week that I know of. And their accounts are fine. Meanwhile, legitimate accounts are being taken down. I mean, there are people who actually do put their real names on there. They just happen to have extremely common names. But they're being taken down, but yet Darth Vader here not only is having a fictional name, but he is also posting porn on his profile. Now Google Plus, I know you're not in the habit of talking about individual accounts, but it does appear that you're showing favoritism to certain people. Now, for example, let's take Lady Gaga. Now, Lady Gaga, that is not her real name. That is her stage name. But yet you've taken down authors who are using a nom de plume. You're also taking down people who do web articles and stuff like that. Of course, gamers also use pseudonyms and stuff. Just having a screen name does not mean that you're anonymous. For example, I'm the HappyCabbie. Everybody knows who I am. I'm on Twitter. I have a blog account. In fact, I have a WordPress account. I have a Blog TV account. I have a Blog TV account. I'm all over the place as HappyCabbie. I'm a legitimate person. There are many other people who do the same thing. They have a screen name, and all the different social sites that they are on, they have this screen name. So therefore, when you run into a person who claims to be HappyCabbie, you have a reasonable suspicion to believe that you are talking to the actual HappyCabbie. Unless, of course, you're talking to the HappyCabbie of Facebook, in which case that is not me, even though it has my picture and stuff like that. There's nothing I can do to shut them down.
Another thing I wanted to add is that requiring people to use their real names will not prevent people from harassing others on Google+. For example, anybody could just choose a name out of completely random, such as Tom Smith or whatever, create a Google Plus account and do all sorts of inappropriate stuff. So requiring people to use their real names is not going to keep the trolls and bad people out of Google Plus. It is a completely meaningless requirement.
Hey everybody, Proportional Response here. I have a script in front of me that I'm going to read from Grappling Ignorance. He's unable to record it at the moment, so as I read it, try to hear his voice. Anonymity is an important and powerful option that the internet has to offer us. It comes at a cost, but it is an important option nonetheless. We, as modern people, deserve the right to separate our personal and professional lives. We even deserve a place where we can truly express ourselves, free of the judgment of our friends and family if we feel so inclined. Many artists of the past have had to either risk their reputation in the public eye or compromise their creative expression to some degree in an effort to preserve the reputation they lived off. The connection between the willingness to try something truly unconventional and the artist as a person can be broken through an anonymous presentation. The result gives the artists the opportunity to produce content of an audio and/or visual nature that is controversial, inventive, and culturally expansive in ways that may never have been done without the use of anonymity to shield them from their risk. Beyond the realm of art and mere respect for the artist is the genuine safety issue that a person faces when posting content to an online forum. The danger involved when connecting a real identity to the content posted is exasperated when posting controversial material. The controversial content on the web, which is not supplied by the mainstream world of art and media, is one of the most beautiful assets the internet has to offer us, and if potential providers of that service are stripped of the anonymity that protects them, we will suffer from the loss of their productions. Some people willingly face the impending threats of death, ostracization from peers or employers, or even the removal from their places of employment because of their commitment to standing by their controversial material they present. Such willingness, however, should not be a prerequisite to the presentation of unique content to what should be an open forum and marketplace for ideas. This powerful option does come at a cost. People who take the option of concealing their real identities do so at the risk of losing credibility and general respect from their potential audiences, but that risk is one they take willingly and are free to connect their content with their identity at any time. It's also easier for people to behave venomously towards others when they aren't held personally accountable for it. Unfortunately, allowing people to show their true colors often does result in cowardly acts of cruel words or even threats. But unrealistic threats from anonymous sources are a small price to pay in order to grant the option of avoiding very real threats to one's personal identity by melding their personal and professional lives when such could have been easily avoided. Anonymity on the internet is a freedom that we not only enjoy, but it is essential to the preservation of an open marketplace for ideas and innovation from as wide a variety of sources and topics as possible. Like all freedoms we enjoy, it comes with a cost, but also like those freedoms, that cost is well worth it.
But anyway, I wanted to ask your question here. How come Lady Gaga is allowed to have her Google Plus account, but yet Lady Ada isn't? In fact, what you requested her to do, when you took down her account, she finally was able to appeal and get it put back up. And of course, she had to put up her real name, Lemore Fried, with, of course, Lady Ada in quotation marks. But yet Charlie Sheen is allowed to have a Google Plus. Charlie Sheen, that is not his real name. His last name is Estevez. But anyway, there's also lots of impersonations. There's a whole bunch of Justin Biebers. There's also a whole bunch of Lady Gaga. But anyway, I'm relying on this article here from Gawker, which if you scroll all the way down, does link this Lady Gaga profile over here. It just simply says Lady Gaga. She doesn't show how many people have added her. She just shows how many people that she has added. But nevertheless, that is not her real name. That is just the name that she performs under. How come Lady Gaga is allowed to get away with it, but yet other people, when they try to put out their stage name or their screen name or something like that, how come they're not allowed to do this? How come Lady Gaga gets away with it? Is it because Lady Gaga, is there a special treatment? Is there preferential treatment given to Lady Gaga that is not available to the rest of us? Could you please answer that question for us? So going through the Google Plus, I was able to find out a whole bunch of other interesting things. I was able to find out, for example, that many of these Google Plus people were setting up accounts for their, spouses and for their children, but of course not using their real name. They're using screen names. Now, I am not going to be involving their family members and especially their children, so therefore I'm not going to be linking it to you. However, if anybody wanted to find it, it's real simple. Find out who they're adding to their circles, go to these people, start checking them out, check the links. It's easy enough to find. There's another thing that I wanted to talk to you about. I want to talk about what I believe Google needs to do in order to rectify this situation. I do believe there are 4 things that they need to do. Number 1, they need to reinstate the accounts that they have suspended, especially when it comes to individuals. Corporations, if they don't want corporations on Google+, that is perfectly fine. However, don't expect corporations to not be allowed when you're giving preferential treatment to Ford and a few other people. Number 2, allow pseudonyms. Having a pseudonym such as HappyCabbie or some of these others, that does not mean that we are anonymous. Anonymous is basically, where you're just, nobody knows who you are, you're just no face or whatever. I'm putting my face out here. Everybody knows that I'm HappyCabbie. I live in Mesa, Arizona. You can talk to me at any time. I'm on all these different social networking sites. Everybody knows who I am. My HappyCabbie is not only a screen name, but it's also a name that I use in real life. Other people, Whether they are a web developer, whether they're a gamer, or whether they just simply want to post videos on YouTube, they have a screen name that people know them by. If they want to have people find them on Google+, they should be able to find it. Now there's lots of good reasons why you would not want to reveal your name online. Number one, if you go to the Safety Center of Google, that's the first thing they tell you to do. Google themselves tell you don't put your real name online. Many of us work in jobs that we have to sign a declaration that we're not going to be doing anything online. I've gotten in trouble for some of the stuff I post online because previous employers have found out about it. Future employees might find out about it. What if you're working for a boss who happens to be of one religious persuasion and finds out that you're of another religious persuasion? You might find yourself out of a job. What if, for example, your boss is a staunch conservative and he finds out that you're a liberal? That might affect your job performance. That might prevent you from getting a promotion. What if you work for the government, for example? Whistleblowing, safety, there's all sorts of things. Let's say, for example, you're in an abusive relationship, you're trying to get away from your wife or your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or whatever. You don't want these people being able to track you down. Just like I was able to track down YouTube and Google employees using Plus, these people don't want to be contacted. They don't want to be found online. Now, I know what you're saying. Well, if you're worried about your danger, don't be on Google+. It's an unreasonable demand. Government censorship. Many people live under dictatorships, where if people find out they are talking negatively about their government, they will come down, arrest them, and sometimes even kill them. This happens in the third world. This happens a lot of time in China. These people are trying to spread news about trying to build freedom in their countries, and if their country's government finds out about it, their lives are in danger. Why should you be denying them what could possibly be the #1 social networking site that hopefully you guys hope to take over and beat out Facebook? Telling them, well, just don't be on Google Plus if you're worried about your safety. Why should, you're the one putting them in danger. You're the one saying, listen, you need to give us your real name so everybody knows who you really are. It's an unreasonable request. Do you guys really enjoy me sending a whole bunch of people to your mailboxes and to your YouTube channels, to your Twitter? No, you guys previously were enjoying your anonymity, but now people know who you are. And furthermore, everybody who watches this video, they're going to be sending you guys messages. Imagine how that's going to happen if that gets out into the real world. Imagine how much stress it could cause to somebody who's trying to run away from an abusive spouse, and their abusive spouse just happens to find them on Google+. Why? Because they just happen to be on Google+, so they could interact with some of their friends, but now somebody can find them out. Now somebody's out of a job because they found them on Google+. And because of Google+, found out about his Twitter, found out about his YouTube channel. This is an unreasonable demand that Google themselves specify. Don't put your names online. It's right there in the Safety Center. Now, when you guys do suspend an account, which, by the way, you're too quick to do, you need to give people warnings. Say, listen, you're violating the terms of service. Change this right now before we'll suspend you. Now, of course, in the case of Darth Vader uploading the porn, yeah, I fully agree. Shut them down. But other people, you're just suspending them out of crazy. Listen, give them a chance to correct the things before you shut them down. And furthermore, when they get the chance to appeal, they should know the status. There are many, like William Shatner, when you shut him down, he had thousands and thousands of Star Trek fans who was crying for his return. Most people don't have that luxury. You're giving preferential treatment. Google employees themselves are not following these rules. And it's causing a real big concern for people who are afraid of their jobs, who are afraid for their lives, depending on what country they live in. It is unreasonable what you guys at Google are doing. I'm the HappyCabbie, and if you agree with this message, I encourage you to favorite and embed this video on as many different websites that you can find. Hopefully we can get this up on TechCrunch or some of these other websites. And if you like what you see, make sure you press that little green annotation. It goes right to my YouTube channel. You can subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good day.